Hello everyone and welcome back to Austin Talks, where today we've got a peculiar video, but I really enjoyed making this video. Here it is. This is the evolution of school and education, and obviously it plays a big part in all of our lives, so I think it's quite appropriate that we do this. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. First off with ancient and medieval school education systems. So I was actually, when I was doing a lot of research for this stuff, I was actually surprised by how early education and schooling started. Because during the medieval period, also known as the Middle Ages, some schools were established where it was led by monks who provided the necessary education of the time. Now, these studies primarily focused on the Latin literacy and religion. And this went on throughout many civilizations and was carried on by these civilizations, such as the Egyptians, Greeks, Romans, and Mesopotamia. I'm sorry if I've said that wrong. Also, at the time, the subject these subjects were like the most important thing until philosophy came around, which is in the next point. So this is now all considered philosophy and big parts of that, which makes sense as philosophy now helps understand and how people make decisions, but based on already formed opinions. Now, from now, it's like this is when. From this point on, it was emphasized and further developed into subjects such as, literacy turned into English, and then mathematics was introduced, and then philosophy became its own thing during the Renaissance period. I couldn't talk there. So this was actually the main focus and introduction to modern education, because during this point in time, modern education as we know it today started to arise and gain a lot more importance. So during this period, many schools and universities were introduced. Universities were so you had schools, but universities was a different part, and it was more for evolved and a lot more smart people. But now it's obviously changed into people who have just finished school. So where universities were introduced across the whole of Europe and included more subjects, and many of them focused on either moral education or the concept of humanism. So still under the philosophy type category. During this point of Enlightenment, the Renaissance period, also known as the Enlightenment era, came through with an introduction to scientific inquiry, that is, as well. So during the Renaissance period, you had people like Galileo Galilei and you had Isaac Newton, who really emphasized the scientific inquiry, which later introduced the education system. Private schools are what were the normal things at the time until a few years ago, when public education established, which further developed the learning and teaching of some, and also at this time it improved the standard curricula and education. So honestly, the Renaissance period was probably the biggest turning point during the evolution of modern education, and this is the one thing this is one period I really love to talk about. Really love to read about, because it was just so informative and so interesting. That really came came really useful to the next period during the 19th and 20th century, which was called mass education, when it started to progress incredibly well. It was all due to the Industrial Revolution. So there was a progressive educational stride during the movements at this time, including, so in 1839 you had the Industrial Revolution, which took place, and that had one of the greatest impacts on the history of education, because it needed to involve a major amount of people needing to go and get the necessary education. Now, it introduced the need for education, the workforce, and it also introduced that people, certain professions needed an educational knowledge. So, and obviously nowadays there's some that you don't actually have to have that. But at this point they realized that in order to do this, there needs to be a large amount of people that need to go to school to get the necessary education, which led to the expansion of public schooling. Now, it's also during this period that homeschooling was introduced after the universal education laws that were implemented, since some families weren't able to afford the necessary education. Homeschooling was seen as people found homeschooling like a bit here and there at this time, but now it's quite normal. And teacher training programs were also developed to reinforce the idea that educational workforce was like a good thing, and it also highlighted that many education movements that took place at that one time, because many like the teaching profession became very popular, and many to do with that type of category became very popular very quickly. Now, the title is quite fitting because this is the biggest point. As much as we had the quickest turnover in the last period of time, which is the Renaissance period, this is where most of it happened at a very quick rate. That's why I say that like the title is very fitting, because it is incredible how much was done in this short amount of time. So, education also took place during World Wars, and now education during both World Wars changed very a lot, because before the First World War, education relied on mathematics, literacy, and all the other major subjects like science and more. So this, however, changed, and people were taught that the importance of your country and what being like a patriot it is like, and understanding how to fight for your country, because this is what the whole point of World Wars. Now, this also shows from an independent perspective that this had a major impact on the education system, because they changed so basically instantly. Like one day you were teaching science and maths, next day you were teaching so how do you do this and how do you do that in context of World Wars. But that was weird. I think it's really weird how quickly it changed because of everything that was going on at the time. Now, it was important to a certain extent because it influenced people to fight for their country, which by many people were unfortunately lost by this during the World Wars. Incredibly unfortunate, but the education system changed so much, and it was really. During World War One, that was the weirdest change. But when World War Two came around, they immediately knew that it was going to change again, and they just resorted to what they did in World War One. But it was just really weird in how it changed, because then it was like physical education became a point at this, became a major part of this, or PE for those. So that became a very major part of this point, especially for the students who were growing up to go to the army. So education during the education during the World Wars is probably the weirdest, and because they do this and then they go back to normal. So it's just during the 21st century. The 21st century introduced the contemporary education reforms, which aim to prepare students for new concepts that were being introduced. Now you think it is the normal, but it is weird to think that contemporary education is something that we actually prepared for. And this point in time includes like STEM education, science, technology, science, technology, engineering, maths, education. So we have STEM education, assessments, project-based learning. All of this was led up to due to everything else that's happened, and it's what we do today. Now, this enhanced many of the skills of students and has advanced the the workforce by a lot. And teachers integrate stuff like critical thinking, digital literacy, creativity, and celebration. All of these have been as a result of STEM education. Somehow, and I think that's actually a lot just in one century, and we're only 24 years in, or 23 full. But this is very surprising to me, because you do learn something new every day. I'm not trying to make a joke, you do, but they do always say that. But STEM education introduced critical thinking and digital literacy, creativity, and celebration. However, creativity has to be a thing in order for us to get here. So I think what it means is as much as it included like critical thinking, digital literacy, creativity, and celebration. All of this was because of like everything that has happened before, but creativity and all of this happened before, so it's not it's been evolved than it has. I mean, people say that it's been like it was basically enhanced over the years. Yes, that is true, but people are saying that also that it comes like it was created during the 21st century. No, it was not. You have to have this with digital literacy. Yes, no, you don't have that, because obviously digital literacy is to do more with you write your English exams on a laptop, but that's different. And just celebration, I don't quite get that. But that's the 21st century of education. Very, very weird. So obviously, alongside the 21st century, we have had many technological advancements, and when it comes to school and education, there is always something changing, but since its emergence, it is now a staple. And with the recent improvements to essay subjects, many of them have resorted to digitalized formats, such as many of the main essay subjects. And to make it easier for students to write more and help their examination officers easier to mark. It is no lie that technology has made it more convenient for everyone, but it can be taken too far, very much so, like especially with the whole idea with AI. AI utilized in school can be very beneficial, but also can be taken too far. Now, I'm aware it is a controversial challenge, and I try and avoid them as much as possible. But the systems where AI can be helpful in the sense it can detect stuff like plagiarism, which is good, and it can still, yes, it is still changing, but I hope it doesn't impact to a very high degree our current education system. I have seen it already impact it quite a lot, but yeah, let's just let's stay away from further advancing AI. However, that may not be avoidable with what I'm about to say next. Future of educational systems. Now, to this day, in 2024, there are still ongoing challenges in the education system. And there always will be. There is always something that's going to need to be improved every time. So it doesn't remain a big problem, but some can very much be a big problem. Now, especially with the way that the world is changing and how quickly it is changing, these challenges will just keep on coming and coming. Many of the issues include funding of education, standardized testing, and the impact of globalization and automation. I'm not exactly sure how they issue, but okay. But there have been trends confirmed to start changing based on this feedback, and to hopefully ensure that the better personal learning and that it is more adaptable to technology, which is good because technology, as I say, is becoming bigger and bigger every single day, and it is becoming more impactful to the education system. Now, I don't think that this that should be a main concern as it is as of now, but since the impact of 2020, people are still wondering how to revise, which also takes me to this, and I'll get onto it in literally just a couple seconds. But I used to struggle to revise, but I also learned that trying to teach others is also a way of revision. So I aim to start doing these revision videos. So these revision videos will apply to maths, science, English. Okay, hang on. Let me start again. These will apply to business studies, history, media studies, food technology, and then all the STEM other ones like maths and science. So these revision videos will be like a guidance in how to answer them and how simple they are. And because I had a big struggle with this, and I know these revision videos, one, they'll help me and they'll help other people. So that's what they're doing is, and I have already got a couple of videos planned. But if there's anything specific that would like to go over, good, because that is what I'm looking for. So these revision videos hopefully will be just as helpful as they are to me, to you. But that's just my plan for these revision videos. So if you help me, I'll help you. All right, everyone, that is the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. And as I said, comment what you would like me to talk about in these revision videos. And I will be doing these videos over my exams to help me. And so I would, but I won't be doing as many because obviously I have to also revise as well. So without further ado, everyone, I hope you all have an amazing and tremendous day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.